Hey, Bob, are you there? Hey, Bob, are you there? Can you hear me? Can you chat? I've been trying to bring you across. It doesn't seem to be working. I'm thinking maybe you're. Hi, Helene. Can you hear me, Helene? Helene, can you hear me? Craig, can you hear me? Can anybody hear me? Okay, Helene can hear me. Wonderful. Craig, can you hear me? Cool. I'm trying to figure out what happened to Bob. I was trying to bring him across, and he's not. Maybe he went to the bathroom. Okay. Well, this is working a whole lot better than it did on Tuesday. For those of you who are on the air right now, you can see that I'm in my mobile uh, broadcasting studio. By the way, does anybody want to come across and participate out loud? It's up to you. Just let me know. And one of the things that's really interesting about this sort of thing, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm going to use this as a teaching moment, and that is 2.5 hours ago. I was at my house in Mexico, and I got in my car and I drove here because my internet connection was up and down today with the weather, and here comes Bob.
I'm still running around.
Okay,
I don't have the link for the 12 o'clock one yet, though.
you don't.
Uh,
All right, but you're on this one. I was trying to bring you
yeah,
across.
I hear you. I heard
Okay,
you. Yeah.
all right, all right. I was trying to bring you across just to make sure all of that was working.
Okay, how? Yeah, that's working. So yeah.
Okay, we're on. Okay, cool. Um, so anyhow, at at 6 o'clock this morning, I was running tests with webinars on air, trying to be sure that we didn't have a repeat of Tuesday's fiasco where nobody could get in, and we still don't know what went wrong. And I was having internet issues today with the weather, and so I just decided to get in my car and drive 2.5 hours up to Bob's house, where I knew that I had a rock solid internet connection. I didn't want to have this today's session go down. And also, I don't know how many of you are signed up for the uh, Motivation Manifesto Mastermind. Let me know in the chat if you're signed up for it. And we want to start that right at noon today. Uh, I think I made a mistake, and I think that scheduling the Motivation Manifesto right at noon was really a dumb idea. I was thinking that I could just do the Lunch with Len broadcast and immediately jump over there, but we need a few minutes in between. So I'm going to cut this one off early today. And on next week, I think we're going to start the Motivation Manifesto discussion 15 minutes later, say at 12:15. Is that all right with everybody? Just let me know. Let me know what you think in the chat. Um, there really was a broadcast on Tuesday, even though nobody could get into it. And one of the things that I covered is I covered MITS pages again, and I'm going to not do that again today. Now, remember a couple of weeks ago when we did the MITS pages, when I started to show you how to do the MITS pages, I got in there and I got confused. I couldn't make it work. I reached the conclusion that MITS had changed their pages, and it was a very confusing session, and I redid it. But the problem is that MITS itself was having a problem that day. Unbeknown to me, their Aweber interface wasn't working, which is why I couldn't find the menu items that I was looking for, and it wasn't working. So I redid that on Tuesday, and it's out there, and you can watch it. If you want me to do it again live, I can do it again live, but we won't have time to do it today. Hello, Chris. Okay. I think all of you know that I started a group, Lunch with Len group on Facebook. So I have a place to plant documents, communicate, and we can communicate with each other. And I'm anticipating that this little group of ours is going to grow. So hopefully that's going to be the case. Again, I want to cut this off early today, so I'm going to skip a couple things I did on Tuesday, but I'm going to redo a couple of things that I did on Tuesday also because I think they're extremely important. By the way, once again, if anybody wants to come out and play, just tell me and I'll bring you across. On Monday night, I think it was Monday night, Ray Higdon did a webinar in which he talked about 5 marketing strategies to help you get more leads. And one of the things that Craig talked about was what he calls ILT, Invest, Learn, Teach. Now, how many of you have heard about Invest, Learn, Teach before? I suspect most of us have, but it's always good to be reminded. Now, Ray states that Invest, Learn, Teach has helped him collect, are you ready for this number? 65,000 leads since 2010. 65,000 leads since 2010. And so what is Invest, Learn, Teach? Well, we know what the invest part is. It's buy a course, attend an event, come to a webinar. We know what the learn part is. Although the number of people that buy courses and actually don't open the course and do anything with it is really astounding, but it really happens. So if you invest in a course, I suggest opening it and learning from the course. And then there's the teach part, which a lot of people neglect to do. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm teaching. I listened to Ray Higdon's webinar Monday night, and on Tuesday, I thought about that again, reminded people about it. And we talked about similar things this morning with in Bert's webinar about teaching people, going out and communicating with them. So it's really important. And so for those of you who aren't doing videos, aren't doing blog posts and things like that, you need to begin to consider how you're going to build your brand if you want to be successful, really successful in this business. And that brings me to the next topic, which I wanted to talk about. Diane Hockman did a webinar, and she's talking about her December sessions, and people can sign up for Diane's December sessions. Diane is saying, and I think she's absolutely right about this, a lot of people slow down in December. They get busy. They have the holidays, they have the parties, they have the friends, the relatives, and their businesses get put on hold and they put them off till January. And what happens in January is all the people that slowed down in December are suddenly finding that they have bills to pay that they can't afford now. They went out and bought Christmas presents they couldn't afford for people that they, never mind, maybe I better not say that. Some people end up buying Christmas presents for people that they don't really want to buy Christmas presents for because they feel obligated to do that. So they spend money they can't afford on presents they don't like for people that they would rather not buy presents for, and then they get the bill in January and it's, oh my God, how am I going to pay the bills? So January is a good time for you and I, all of us, to be prepared to really hit it hard. And the way you do that is you start prepping in December. Diane suggests that you generate between 100 and 200 pieces of content in December. I can hear that sigh. 200 pieces of content. She suggests that you make a list. And by the way, Bob, I think you're in Diane's class, aren't you? So maybe you want to contribute. And if you want to come out, I'll try to bring you across again. But she suggests that you sit down and make a list of 100 to 200 things that you know how to do. And whether that's put up a blog post, put up an ad in Facebook, whatever it is, a list of 100 to 200 things, and then you begin to generate content. She doesn't suggest that that content be all polished and ready to go. You're not going to put up 200 blog posts or 200 videos in December. But you can sit down with a video camera, and I've actually done this, sit down with a video camera and record I've I guess the biggest number I've ever done is maybe a half a dozen videos all at one time, where I'll just sit down. I'll have a list of like a half a dozen videos that I want to talk topics I want to talk about, and I'll just push the record button, record a video, push stop, push record the video, and at the end of 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I have 5, 6 videos recorded. Now they're not in polished form, they're not rendered, they're not ready to go watch yet, but they're there. Let me try again, Bob. I'm just curious as to whether or not this is working, and if it's not working, why it's not working. Because I think we're gonna want to bring people across in the Motivation Manifesto. So there, I'm clicking on the link again. Ah, there you come. You're coming across now. I think you're coming across. Let me see if Bob pops up. He disappeared. What I have found is with webinars on air is that the first thing that happens is the person you're bringing across disappears, and you think they're gone completely. And
okay, I'm in.
I see that. Cool. Hello, Bob. All right.
Let me get my camera.
So you're in Diane's. I know you're in Diane's course, I believe, aren't you?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yes.
Your name's Bob. Okay. So. So do you have anything to add to what I've been saying, or have you heard?
I didn't even hear what you were saying, Len, because I was trying to get in.
I was saying that one of the things that Diane has suggested is that people they make a list of 100 to 200 things that they know how to do.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
Right. You think you don't know how to find content, but the reality is there's a lot of things you already know how to do. Sit down and make that list, and then start generating content. And generate 100 to 200 pieces of content in December. And that doesn't mean finished, polished, launched out the door. It means raw content that as the next 2 or 3 months move by, you can draw from and you can publish.
Yeah, it's an amazing concept. When you start writing things down, at first you say, I don't really have anything to offer. And when you start writing things down, all of a sudden things just start popping up. Oh yeah, I can do that. I can copy and paste. You know, I can time it.
And we do all have things to offer. And as I pointed out here, I listened to Ray Higdon's webinar Monday night, and on Tuesday morning in Lunch with Len, I was teaching what Ray taught Monday night. Last week, and again, I'm going to cut this short today because I'm concerned about our Motivation Manifesto, so I'm going to move pretty quickly. But last week I listened to a different Diane Hochman. It was a webinar. It was The Deep Abyss. And I made 5 pieces of content. I made 5 videos the next day from that Deep Abyss conversation. And I could have made probably 10, 15, or even 20. I don't know. It's just that I picked 5 topics that I found intriguing, and I made the videos about them. They're already published. They're out on my YouTube channel. So the reality is that everybody, and like you're making videos every day, Bob, the reality is that everybody has plenty of things to talk about. What you have to do is step through that fear. And did you folks see Felicia Mupo's? Here's another example. I'm teaching. Felicia Mupo put up a blog post yesterday which she showed you her video equipment. She had her cell phone sitting on 2 paper clips. Bob's video equipment is a cell phone on a pile of rocks. Right, Bob? The sacred rocks?
That's right. On a big sand pile.
While it's nice to have expensive equipment, you don't need expensive equipment to get started. Everybody can get started with what they already have in their possession. And yes, it may not be we got people like Mark Harbour to talk about lighting, or Frank Marino to talk about lighting and talk about what microphone you should have, and all that stuff's really good. But if you can't afford it, don't let it be an excuse for not getting started. So while your potential customers are out spending money they don't have on presents they can't afford for people they don't really like anyhow in December, you start to get ready for them in January when they open their bills and go, oh my God, how am I going to pay the bill? And start getting content ready to go so that you can position yourself in front of your customers as the leader that you want to be. Does that all make sense to everybody? Say yes.
Say aye.
Say aye. In the chat. Okay. Now that brings me to the next topic and to the real reason that I created the Lunch with Len Facebook group. If you go out to that group, you will find that I posted a document in the files section. Just go to the files section and look at it. The document is, I think, about 9 pages long, and it's aptly called Planning for 2015, or something like that. It's got some sort of a title that's similar to Planning for 2015. And what I'm going to do with you, starting next week, is we're going to work together to plan for 2015. We're going to make 2015 the best year that you have ever had, and we are also going to make it the best year that I have ever had in this business. And we're going to grow together. And so I would like you to download that document, take a peek at it, and we're going to go through it together starting on Tuesday. I'm also going to try to bring in a guest speaker next week, but I can't absolutely guarantee that that's going to happen yet. I don't have it really firmed up, and it's going to be a guest speaker on a different topic, and I'm not going to share that quite with you until I know what it. I don't want to make promises I can't keep, which is why I told you that I drove 2.5 hours today to be here, because I don't want to make promises I can't keep, nor should you. In this business, your credibility is extremely important. So I'd like you to look at that planning document. It opens with a conversation, and here's what I would like you to do, because this is really deep. I would really like you to spend some time thinking about what you want your life to look like 3 years from today. So it is December 4th, 2017. I am so happy and grateful now that my business, my life, my relationships, my marriage, my whatever is. And the key here is to really take off the shackles, take away the fear, take away the doubt, and just open up your spirit and think about what your ideal life is like 3 years from now. And then be prepared to make it happen, because together we can make it happen. I promise you. And one of the ways we're going to make it happen is right here, the Motivation Manifesto. This is a phenomenal book. I'm not going to tell you it's the best book I've ever read, but it might be. It just might be. It's right up there with the best 1 or 2 or 3. And it's all about how to make your life better, how to motivate yourself, how to find that spark that you can use to be what you want to be, to become what you want to become. And so I really hope that all of you are going to be on and part of our Motivation Manifesto discussion. I don't know exactly where the Motivation Manifesto discussion is going to go, because we haven't started it yet. But Bob and I are co-hosting it. We're going to be on at 12 o'clock today. Bob, where can they find your cute, pretty little link that you put up? What's the name of it? I got it backwards this morning.
It's onlybeloved.com. Onlybeloved.com. Real pretty little link, onlybeloved.com. That'll take you right to Len's registration. Onlybeloved.com.
Okay, so if you're not registered for that, go ahead and register for it if you have the time to be there today. Now, they will be recorded. There's going to be 12 sessions. They're going to parallel the 12 pieces of Brendan Burchard's online course that is free, that comes with the book. So you can watch his videos. I'm watching his videos every week, and we're going to be masterminding and discussing the concepts. And yes, Helene, you're right. It's true. But you know, sometimes it isn't. I will honestly tell you that I was reading a book a couple weeks ago, and I got about halfway through it, and it wasn't doing anything for me. It wasn't floating my boat. And on the other hand, I tell you, this thing, I've been reading this for a long time, and I'm only on page 59, and that's because I've gone back and reread parts of the book 2 or 3 times. Yet, every time I go in, I underline some more stuff and highlight some more stuff and find more things that really speak to me. And I think, it's often been said that when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And I'm not so sure I would have understood this book 5 years ago. But for me today, it's just speaking volumes. Bob, you have anything to add?
No, I want to save it off for the webinar, for the Motivation Manifesto webinar, for this one.
Pardon me?
I want to save it off for this webinar. Everything that I want to add about this, I want to save it for that one. But one thing I know that I need to go and register, because I looked at my link and I can't find in my email that I'm even registered for this. So.
Okay. Well, are we on the same page on the timing that today we're going to start at noon, but next week we're going to move it to 12:15 so that we don't feel rushed and have issues like this in between?
That sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
So 12:15 to nominally 1 o'clock. Does that make sense?
Yep, it makes sense to me.
Okay. Is everybody else on board with that? Well, we'll put it out there in the group too, and there'll be lots of videos. There'll be lots of videos between now and next week. Bob will make one every day. So, having said that, it's almost 10 to the hour. I'm going to terminate this broadcast so that we can launch the Motivation Manifesto Mastermind. I hope you're going to be there. Thanks for being here today. Sorry about what happened on Tuesday. I just have no clue, and Webinars on Air is still investigating. I ran a test with them this morning, and they couldn't find any reason why people couldn't get in on Tuesday, but nobody got in. We don't know why. But Google Hangouts was having a problem on Tuesday, I'm told. So it may have been a Google problem. We don't know. But that's all I can tell you. If it ever happens again, we'll recover again.
Sure, just blame Google.
Technology gets us every now and then. All right, guys and girls, see you in the Motivation Manifesto. I'm going to, let's see, what am I going to do here? I'm going to send you all over there, just in case you're not registered. I'm redirecting you. I've never done this before. I hope it works. So in principle, Bob, they've all been redirected.